Okay, welcome everyone. As we learn the Mishna Yomis, sponsored Lili Nishmas Dov Ben Chaim, Lefush Lema, fellow Yomis Ben Chai Zara, Yaakov Ben Bas Yaleah, for the schus of Avram and Yom Meinish Ben Malki Yudis. We're also sponsored by the Fisher family, Lili Nishmas Basi Bas Robert, Shlomo Ben Avram Alevi, Perel Bas Ruvain, also by Yol Klugman and family, and Lefush Lema for Moshe Meir Ben Esther Fadel, for Avigdor Aya ben Rivka, for Hinda Bas Chai Zara, Chana Bas Shashabina, Yitzhak ben Siyam ben Dusha, and Meir ben Chai Zara. They should have a refuah shalema b'sei Sharchei Yisrael. So the Mishnah tells us, Baleshes, if marauding troops of Ovdei Kechavim, of pagans, Shenichnas al that entered the city. Now they usually came and they plundered. So b'shah shalom, if they came in a time of peace, so that they have a free time, so chavyas psuchas, the open barrels, are asuras, because we assume that the goyim helped themselves to wine and did nisach hayayin and made it asbana. Stumais, those that are sealed, are mutaros. They're permitted, because the fact that they didn't break them open, they wouldn't have bothered to reseal it. So the fact that they didn't break it open, it shows they didn't use it. However, b'shas milchama, if they came during a time of battle, then elu ve'elu mutaros. Then both are mutar, even the open ones. Why? Because since they're in a battle, they're in a rush, they don't have the head to offer libations. They don't have the head to offer a libation, and therefore it's not asr. Now, Mishnah Zion tells us, Uman in Yisrael, let's say Shelley worked for a guy, he did work for a guy, and the guy sent Shelley for his pay a barrel of yayin nesach. Now Shelley knew that he can't accept it because yayin nesach is also b'ana. Mutar l'mayla, he could tell the guy before he takes it into his possession, "Tei manu estameh, don't give me yayin nesach, give me its money." However, v'mishnichnas l'rishusan, once Shelley takes it into his property, so then it becomes his, it's also b'ana, and then he can't exchange it, because since it's forbidden for benefit, he can't exchange it, then it's also, then he can't take money instead. Now, let's say Shelley sells the guy wine. So, if Shelley sells wine to a guy, if Shelley comes to agreement with the guy at a rate, he says, I'll sell you a gallon for $23. So then, the guy is already samich das, because he knows a rate. So then, when Shelley pours it into the guy's barrel, and the guy does meshicha, dam of matarin, the money is permitted, because the guy yet didn't touch the wine, so it's not yayin nesach, so Shelley could take payment for it. But madad actually pasak, if Shelley measured it out to him before he made up a rate, so then the guy takes it, but he doesn't make a kinyan, because he doesn't make a kinyan until Shelley gives him an amount. By the time Shelley gives him an amount, the guy had already touched it, so now Shelley can't take the money from him, dam of asurin, because then he's taking money for yayin nesach. Now here's an interesting case. Shelley is pouring out wine into Tony's keli. Now Tony already has wine in his barrel, so that wine is yayin nesach. So not unless a mashpech, Shelley takes a funnel, and he pours the wine into Tony's barrel. Now, when you pour in the wine, there's what's called nitzuk, a flow. And the Tana of this Mishnah holds nitzuk is chibur, that the flow connects the two items together, that which you're pouring in to that which you're pouring into, even if it doesn't actually touch the rest of the stuff, but whatever is connected becomes one. Now, if Shelley pours in all the wine, then what's the problem? All the wine is the guy's. The problem is that Shelley then takes that funnel, that mashpech, and pours some wine into his own barrel. Now, there are funnels that have a little lip at the end, which means that when Shelley did the first pouring into Tony's barrel, some of that wine that was connected stayed in the funnel, and that wine became Yayin Nesach. Now, when he takes the funnel and pours other wine into his barrel, those last drops go into his barrel and make his barrel Yayin Nesach. And that's what it says. The Chazar Modad L'Seich Suchisa Shel Yisrael, if he then goes and measures wine into his own barrel, Im Yesh Bei Akeves Yayin, if the funnel has a lip at the end, so some of the original wine that he poured into the guy's barrel, some of it stayed, and that wine is Yayin Nesach because it was nitzik, it was connected. So now when those driplets come out into his barrel, it makes it aser. Now the Mishnah now switches to another case. And this case is Hama'ara Mekeli El Keli. If Shelley pours from his vessel into Tony's vessel, but Shelley was already an expert, and he knew that he can't make nitzuk, he can't make a flow. So either he did it from a far area, and he threw it in, so it wasn't a connection, or he did it in short spurts, so it never got connected. So then Esha Eira Mimena Mutter, the barrel that he poured from is Mutter, because then there's no nitzuk. The Esha Eira L'Seichai, of course, the barrel that he pours it into, the guy's barrel, that's aser, because that's Yayin Nesach, it went into the guy's wine. Okay, Rabbi Say, we are delighted with this wonderful evening of Torah. I want to remind you that this week, Daf Yomi 835, also remind you that Mel Zachter, Chaber Adaf Mel Zachter, is sitting Shiva, and I know that his phone number is on the chat. I'm hoping that maybe I'll get over to visit him tomorrow in Staten Island. We'll try to call him to be Menachem Avel. And we are looking for a sponsor for this week's share on MR, 718-916-3100, rmmwsi@aol.com. We do not have a sponsor. Thank you for joining us, and have a wonderful day.